Hi there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. My name is Rodney, and today I think I'm going to try out a very unique video. So I've been getting a lot of requests for this particular type of fragrances, which is basically fragrances for women or fragrances which are unisex. So I thought, let me do a video on this one, and if this goes well, and then we can do an all-out video for fragrances only for women. So there are some fragrances that I think that are really good, and I think that can easily be pulled off by women. And I think on that note, let's get this video started. Alright, so welcome back. So the first fragrance on this list is a very popular fragrance. This is the most widely used fragrance in our house, and this is the go-to fragrance for my wife and my daughter. And this has been with me for more than almost a year now, and this is the EM5's RD Oud. Now EM5's RD Oud is basically not an exact oud fragrance, so to say, so you don't have to be scared about oud at all. In fact, this is more of a citrus floral rose kind of a fragrance. So right at the top it's got citrus notes, in the heart it's got some white flowers like mayflower, jasmine and all of that. In the base it's got oud, it's got saffron and all of those things. But then like I said, the oud is really there on the namesake. It's really not an oud fragrance, so to say. So the scent profile that you kind of get is a very sweet, jammy, sugary kind of a rose. It's a very beautiful rose fragrance that you will get. You'll get a lot of compliments for this. This is one of those scents that you actually will be able to kind of enjoy, and it's a very compliment getting kind of a fragrance. So it's a very beautiful fragrance to try. Nice fragrance, and the performance on this one is about 3 to 4 hours. So for the first 30 to 40 minutes it kind of projects, and after that it goes into starts going down. But then if you look at it, it's a very nice bubble that you kind of get. So it's a very good fragrance for in terms of a rose vibe that you want. And for the price, this was when I got it, it was about 599 rupees, but I think now it's about the 899 or 799 tag. I still feel it's worth it. It's a very good, very well-rounded fragrance, and no alcohol blast as such. A pretty decent one. This is EM5's RD Oud. This is the take on Roger Dave's Aoud. The second fragrance that I would like to talk to you about is from the house of Muzna Fragrances. This is called Yellow Beach. Okay, now Yellow Beach is very nice. It's a more of an aquatic kind of a fragrance, but it's got a lot of yellow flowers. It's got a little bit of musk element, and it's got that little bit of that sweetness as well. So it's a very beautiful kind of a fragrance, and when you wear it, it kind of lasts long. You get a very nice aroma of those yellow flowers, and a little bit of those white elements as well. But the musky element is very nice in this. And for a bright sunny day, or if you're looking at a vacation, that kind of thing, and you want to have a fragrance that can last long, especially in a good heat, this is the type of fragrance that you need to go to, because Muzna's fragrances have got good concentration, and they perform really well. So this one will easily give you about 6 to 8 hours of performance, and it projects very well for the first 1 to 2 hours. And it's a very nice floral, musky, citrusy kind of a fragrance, a little bit of those aquatic tones as well. So it's a very well-rounded fragrance, and it's kind of will give you compliments again. So while this is rose dominant, this is more of yellow flower and white flower dominant kind of a fragrance. I personally like this one a lot. It's pretty nice when you think about woman wear or a unisex wear kind of a fragrance. So this is Muzna Fragrances Yellow Beach, and this I think should be in the ballpark figure of about 650-700 rupees for about 50 ml, I guess. I will put in the details, so I think shipping would be extra. You'll have to check on that. So this is Yellow Beach from the house of Muzna Fragrances. Next on this particular list is one of my personal favorite fragrances, and this was, I think, eye-opener kind of a fragrance for me for this particular house. I'm talking about MFK's AUF, which is basically Aqua Universalis Forte. So this is a very nice kind of a fragrance. It's got more of those white flower, that kind of element, a little bit of musk as well. So it's supposed to have a little bit of that oud element as well. But then this is a very well-made fragrance. This is from the house of MFK, and this when you kind of spray it on, you get a very nice vibe. It opens really well. Oh, lovely fragrance, and I think people have fallen in love with this particular fragrance to whomever I've recommended. So this is a very nice fragrance, especially if you're looking for something aside to that typical light mellow type of fragrance. This isn't. This is a very bright, very beautiful sensual kind of a fragrance, I would say. This is a very well-made fragrance from the house of Yasmin. This is the only alt that is available of the popular MFK's fragrance Aqua Universal Forte. So you can definitely try this one if you like a nice white flower musk kind of element. You will absolutely enjoy this. So number 4 is a fragrance that is for a very bold day, or a very bold woman, or anybody who wants to have a very bold appearance for that particular day. And I think this goes very well with day and evening fragrances as well. And this is one very popular fragrance, and I'm talking about Dopamine, which is an alt of Bailari Tiger. Now this is a 3-note fragrance. This is basically ambroxane, woody notes, and grapefruit, and this kind of opens up really well. It's a very beautiful fragrance that's got a lot of ginger note, and it's got good amount of grapefruit, but the way it kind of blends, it's really nice. It's a very loud projecting kind of a fragrance, so a couple of sprays and you're good for a very beautiful day. Bright, energetic, that kind of a fragrance. So when I think about fragrances like Oud or AUF, these are mellow, mild fragrances. Now here you're looking at a very bright, strong kind of a fragrance, again on a citrus note. Okay, so predominantly citrus note, grapefruit, ambroxane, but the woody note is where the beauty happens. So if you're looking at for a evening wear or even for a day wear, this goes really well. So you can try a lot of alts of Tiger, but I think this is definitely one of them. This is one of the better ones, I would say. This is Dopamine from the house of Centedelic. Now this 50 ml fetches a little high, it's about 1750 approximately. So but you get a very good quality of juice for that particular value, and performance is crazy. You get about 6 to 8 hours, and this is more of a beast mode kind of a projection as well. So if you want a loud fragrance, you want a fragrance that that needs to be noticed by others, then this is something that you definitely can get. So this is Dopamine from the house of Centedelic. The next fragrance on this list is actually my favorite fragrance, or it's one of my favorite fragrances of all time, and I actually enjoy this when somebody else wears it. So when I spray it on my wife or my daughter, I kind of like this particular fragrance on them, and it's a very beautiful fragrance. And I think this is one of those perfect unisex kind of a fragrance that's for a very complex man or a very complex woman. So I'm talking about Baccarat Rouge 540, and this is an all from the house of Al Maham called Casino Royale Night, and this is fantastic because this particular fragrance opens with saffron and jasmine, and then it's got amber, and then it's got a little bit of woody notes, especially like cedar. But the scent profile on this particular fragrance is Absolute Love, which is basically a very sweet candy, cotton candy type of a fragrance, right? So when you think about cotton candy and when you want to eat it, you kind of feel that sweetness, you get that vibe of that bubblegummy vibe, a little like that. I wouldn't really say a lot of bubblegummy vibe, but that saffron note makes it for a really beautiful fragrance, and this projects really nice, right? So something very unique about this particular fragrance is it's not a fragrance that will speak out volumes to you right at your face, but then the moment you walk through somebody, you kind of will get glances, because that will leave a nice sillage and a nice trail. So from that point of view, I absolutely enjoy this particular fragrance. Now the occasion when you should wear this is definitely some kind of a celebration. This is not your regular wear fragrance. This should be something for a wedding or a party or a gathering, and it's an indoor event especially. It will work really well. On a humid day, this will not really work well because it will not project. It will kind of dissipate very soon. But on a very cold, nice environment like an AC environment, and you're in a hall, you're having a dance, you're having a ball, then this particular fragrance opens really well. So if you're looking for a occasion and you want a special kind of a fragrance to wear, then I think you should definitely wear this, and I'm sure you will get a lot of compliments. This is one very beautiful fragrance from the house of Maison Francis Cordigan, and this is Baccarat Rouge. I'm talking about the EDP. So this is an alt from the house of Al Maham. You can try other ones as well, but I think this will be about 1500 rupees for about 50 ml, but it's really nice, and you can definitely try this. This is Casino Royale Night. So the next fragrance that I'm going to talk to you about is a fragrance from the house of Tom Ford, and I think this is one of the best fragrances from there. This is so very good. I have the OG decant as well, but I kind of like this fragrance so much that I think you can wear this at any given point of time. I'm talking about the most popular Black Orchid from the house of Tom Ford. Now this is a fragrance for unisex, for anybody, primarily because of the way in which the scent profile works. So the notes open up with something called truffle, which is basically an edible element, right? So it's a very expensive component in the world, which you really have to dig deep. Dogs will have to hunt a lot to get truffles, and truffles are one of the world's most expensive commodities. And then when you kind of compare that, or combine it with Mexican chocolate and a lot of other notes, you kind of get a very beautiful creamy texture. Now this particular fragrance, when it opens with, it'll have that truffle note, it'll have that chocolatey note, and it's kind of will have a lot of other floral and fruity elements to it as well. But then there's a lot of woody elements as well, like vanilla and all of that, so making it a very sweet, lovely kind of a fragrance. Now this is the type of fragrance that you want to wear when you want to feel very comfortable. You want to just spray this on and sit and grab a book, grab a cup of coffee and read through, or do your Netflix and chill kind of thing. That is the kind of time you need to wear this, so your partner will really appreciate a fragrance like this. It could lead to some interesting things as well. So but on the other way, if you look at a fragrance on the whole, this is a very beautiful fragrance, a fragrance that speaks very complicated notes, and something that you will absolutely enjoy wearing it. And people might also ask you what you're wearing, because generally people will sniff things like citrus element, aquatic fragrances, floral notes, but gourmand fragrance like this is something that people might not expect. So unless somebody knows perfumery and a lot of fragrances, so when you wear something like this, it's going to make you unique, and you get a lot of attention. So definitely try. The next one on this list is Ardal Zafran's Oud of Tom Ford Black Orchid, which is 24 hours Oud. So this is a very nice fragrance. You can get this. Of all the Ouds that I tried, I kind of like this, which is available in India. You get about 100 ml or 80 ml for about 1350 to 1450, roughly within 1500 rupees. So for that particular price point, this makes for a very good value for money. Performance is good. You should get about 6 to 8 hours easily on this, at least about 6 hours easy, and it really is a very good fragrance. So if you really enjoy something very unique, you should definitely try Tom Ford's Black Orchid, and this is by Ardal Zafran. This is called 24 Hour Oud. Number 7 on this list is a fragrance that I recently featured in the Yasmin Roja videos, and I'm talking about Candy Oud. Now this is a very nice kind of a fragrance, because it needs to be on that list for unisex fragrances because of the way the scent profile works. Now right at the top, it's got a little bit of the citrus notes, but in the heart it's where it's got a lot of fruit notes, banana, apple, kiwi and all of that. And at the base it's got oud and some woody notes and all of that. But then the scent profile is a very beautiful, creamy, lovely kind of a texture that you kind of get, and you get a very nice performance also on this, about 4 to 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours roughly I would say. And then the bubble is what this particular fragrance is all about. You get a very beautiful candy like kind of a bubble with a lot of freshness and a lot of musky element, a little bit of that fruity element to it. So you want a fragrance that's got a very good fresh take, especially for office wear, something that smells very complicated, rich at the same time. You can definitely consider Candy Oud from the house of Roja Fragrances again. Now I have featured one of them here already, which is basically Aoud, this is more of a rose oriented fragrance, whereas Candy Oud is more of a fragrance that is on the fruit floral note and a little bit of oud as well. So on this particular one, you can kind of get the oud really nice. It's at the base, so it's a very mild, very beautiful kind of a fragrance. So obviously projection is going to be good, and performance is going to be good as well, and it's a fragrance that you will actually like. It's not the offensive type of oud at all. It's a very beautiful kind of oud. So one of the beautiful things about Roja house of fragrances is that whenever they've introduced or used oud in all of their fragrances, which is majority of the times, you will find that the way the oud has been used is really, really nice. So you kind of actually start liking stuff like this, so you will actually enjoy this particular fragrance. So this is Candy Oud from the house of Yasmin. This should be about, I think, 1200-1300 rupees for 50 ml. You can contact Yasmin for shipping and other details. So this is a nice fragrance to try. So number 8 on the list is a woody fragrance, and I kind of actually like this particular fragrance on women. It works really well as well. So this is Armani Code Absolut from the house of Musna. Either you can kind of get this, which is a very nice fragrance, or you can also get the Albeit one as well. Both are really, really good. Now, the kind of scent profile on this is that you kind of get vanilla, you get tonka beans, you get green apple, you get nutmeg and all of that. So the way it kind of opens is you have that green apple note with a little bit of that nutmeg. So you have a little bit of that spicy element, you have a little bit of that sweetness. And then as it goes down into, vanilla and tonka beans, you kind of get a very creamy texture. And then the woody base, of course, comes into picture, and you get a very talcum-like kind of, a fragrance. So if it's a fragrance that's, very strong, it's very woody, it's very, very beautiful, it's very, comforting, it's very, cozy as well. So that way, you will absolutely enjoy this kind of fragrance, especially on a winter evening, especially when you're going out for a walk, or you want to be in a very cozy zone. This is a lovely fragrance to wear. And again, this is a fragrance that can take you out of that stereotype of a woman floral fragrance. So this is something very different, very woody, very nice, very creamy, very vanilla type of a fragrance with a little bit of that sweetness. And you've got a very nice dry down as well. So you will absolutely enjoy this particular fragrance. And this particular one, the performance is really nice. You get about 6 to 8 hours at least on this one. This is a pretty well macerated batch, so I think this is more than a year and a half old. So that's why you kind of look at the juice color, you get a very dark color, so it's pretty well macerated. That's why the performance is good. So on the newer batches you might get a little lower, but then over a period of time you will definitely get a good one. Now 50 ml of this should probably cost you less than 1000 rupees. I know I will share Muzna Fragrances number here. You can check with them, and shipping would be additional, so you can kind of get an idea how much this will be. But in terms of a scent profile, this is a fab fragrance to have, especially for evening wears for women or anybody. This is absolutely wonderful to have. This is Armani's Code Absolut alt from the house of Muzna Fragrances. Or you can consider, like I said, you can go with Albait as well. Albait is also got very good volume. I think you get about 88 ml of volume for about 1700-1800 rupees. So you can even consider this. This is also an excellent performance. So scent profile is typically the same. This I feel is a little more bolder, and this is a little more milder. That's about it. Number 9 on this list is a fragrance that I absolutely enjoy putting it on my daughter. I kind of like it every time we go out somewhere for an occasion or a wedding or something like that. I kind of like putting this on for her. This is really nice. It's a very beautiful fragrance from the house of Ruhaniyat called Rose Vanilla. Now I've featured this in the winter fragrances as well, and the rose fragrances as well. So you know that this is a very good fragrance when it comes multiple lists, right? So this is basically, I think it's a take on Mancera's Rose Vanilla, but then I kind of like this fragrance for simply whatever it is. It's a beautiful rose, sweet, jammy with a little bit of woody element and a little bit of that vanilla element. It's an absolute beautiful fragrance that can give you compliment, especially when you think about people who come close to you, or who give you hugs or give you kisses, and who come in a very close range of circle. They will kind of really appreciate this kind of a fragrance, because the moment you come closer to somebody who's wearing this, you will be like, oh wow, what you're wearing, it smells so nice. So that is the kind of profile that you get. It's a very rosy, vanilla, sweet kind of a fragrance, a little similar to this, but the thing is, Oud has got a little more milder, a little more lighter rose, and I think here the rose is like really standing out. It's more predominantly a rose fragrance and a little bit of that vanilla. So a beautiful scent profile, and performance is really good. You get about, I think 6 to 8 hours easy on this one. The first 1 hour, it's a really good projection. It's an excellent fragrance for men, so that's why I'm saying that this is an excellent fragrance for women as well. Anybody can carry this very well. The 50 ml of this one is about 1500 rupees, I think, plus shipping. Maybe you will have to check with Ruhaniyat on that. I'll share the details, but if you are looking for a very beautiful rose fragrance, rose vanilla fragrance, and then definitely consider rose vanilla from the house of Ruhaniyat Fragrances. So the next fragrance is a fragrance that I tried from a house called ThePerfumes, and I've been wanting to do a full-fledged video about this, but somehow it's been slipping my mind. But I've liked a couple of their fragrances that I tried, and this is the beauty of this particular hobby or the channel, where you are able to experience a lot of Indian houses which make some fabulous stuff, and this is one of those underrated houses, which is called ThePerfumes. This is led by Safwan, and this particular fragrance is superb. Like, this is called Julliet. Okay, now this is a fragrance that kind of opens up with a bit of citrus element. It's got a little bit of jasmine and a little bit of rose and all of that, and it's a very beautiful, typical fragrance that you would tend to see or stay for women. So it's a very floral kind of a fragrance, but the floral notes on this one is like really nicely done. It's a very well blended fragrance, and you kind of get that nice aroma of jasmine and a little bit of that rose and a little bit of those white flowers and a little bit of those citrus notes as well. And then in the dry down, there's a little bit of those woody element, musky elements as well. I will share the note profile on this, but for me, somehow, whenever I've tried this particular fragrance on me or for somebody else, I've kind of always liked the scent profile. And I think this is about 1100 or 1200 rupees for 50 ml. I don't recall the price exactly, but I will put this on the list. You can definitely contact ThePerfumes to get this. Again, on this one, the performance is average about 4 to 5 hours as I recall, and but this projection is nice. Good first 2 to 3 feet, it will project well, and it's very well made. Another very good thing about this particular house is that all of their fragrances are alcohol free. So that means if you're considering to wear this for prayers and all of that, you can definitely wear this, because they use a different kind of a chemical which makes it not that kind of an alcohol, and so it's so it's good in terms of that. So it's a very nice thing that to have that. So it's a very good fragrance from the house of ThePerfumes. It's called Julliet. It's a more citrusy, floral, lovely kind of a fragrance. You get that nice whiff of that jasmine, and it carries you, it lingers you along. It's a nice open garden. So you will definitely enjoy this from the house of ThePerfumes called Julliet. I think it's number 11, and this is Valentino Uomo Intense from the house of Albeit. And this, I told you, is an absolute love kind of a fragrance for me, because, and I think this is an excellent fragrance for women, especially considering for date nights or something like that. You should definitely try it. I think this works very well for men too on date nights. So I think, you know, both of you can't go wrong when you wear this kind of a fragrance, because this is a fragrance that's typically got lavender, it's got iris, it's got vanilla, it's got tonka bean. So you kind of, you know, understand whenever you hear the word iris and lavender, it already puts you in a very beautiful comfort zone, because that's a kind of a scent profile that is very appealing, it's very cozy, it's very comforting, it's very romantic too. So in that way, you know, this is a very nice fragrance, and you get a very beautiful bubble on this. The performance on for Albate's Uomo Intense is fabulous. It's a very good projection for the first two at least hours, and then, you know, it's on your bubble, it's on your apparel for 6+ hours easily, and you should get a very good value for money component here, because I think the 88 ml is about 1700 rupees. So for that price, you get a fabulous performing fragrance. Most importantly, when you think about fragrances which are floral, which are fruity and woody, here you have a fragrance which is more you know, comforting, iris, lavender, vanilla, tonka beans, a little sweet, a little comfortable, very nice fragrance, and you'll actually enjoy this kind of you know, fragrance. So if you're looking for a, you know, very cozy evening date night kind of a fragrance, then definitely think about Uomo Intense from the house of Valentino. I think number 12 on this particular list is another fragrance from the house of Albeit, and this is basically Isemiya case or Laude Isis Noir Ambre. And this particular fragrance is basically a fragrance which has got cinnamon, it's got a little bit of leather note, it's got a little bit of that amber note and all of that. So it's a very, very beautiful kind of a fragrance. So for me, somewhere when I put this on, you get a little bit of vibe of Ganymede. Now Ganymede, I would say, is a very, very masculine kind of a fragrance, because it's got a very strong mineral note to it. This, on the other hand, is a very beautifully, nicely done kind of a fragrance with a little bit of leather as well. So you get a very nice ambery, you get a light sweetness, and you kind of get a little bit of that powdery talcum kind of a vibe. And the other thing is, you know, this isn't too loud, right? So it's a very bubble, mild, you know, mellow kind of a fragrance that you will actually enjoy a lot on yourself and somebody around you. So if you're looking for a very nice bubble kind of a fragrance and a nice ambery, so when you think about amber, don't think about that it's going to be harsh or anything as such. Amber, when mixed with tonka bean, cinnamon, and all of those elements, it makes for a very comfortable, very sweet, nice kind of a fragrance. And that mineral note is like a type of a very uplifting fragrance note. It's a very beautiful note, and you will actually enjoy this. So, and you know, again, good value for money. You will get about 1752,000 rupees. You will get a 88 ml. Performance is good, 4 to 5 hours, and this is a very nice bubble fragrance for, you know, especially for women. But I think even men can carry it very well. It's a very nice unisex fragrance. So this is Noir Ambre from the house of Laude Isis Ciliaki. So the next fragrance, I think it's number 13, is basically Drip Drop 2.0 from the house of Scentadelic. This is an alt of Zurge of Naxos. Now this is a fragrance that I got a lot of compliments, and this is generally a fragrance that women like and men like too. There's a lot of following for this particular fragrance, and rightly done, because this particular fragrance opens with honey, lavender, cinnamon, and you know, that tonka beans, vanilla, all of that. So primary element is lavender, honey, cinnamon, and because of that, you can kind of imagine that this is going to be a sweet, you know, savory type of a fragrance. It can definitely is a gourmand fragrance. So, but then the gourmand is not like your typical, you know, bakery type of thing, but it's more of an uplifting, very fresh, refreshing fragrance, because lavender and honey and, you know, cinnamon go very, very well. And of course, at the base, it's got tonka beans and vanilla, so you get a very nice vanilla, you know, a good base note as well. But the predominant thing on this one is the lovely dry down that you get, that will absolutely give you compliments. People will like sniffing this around you. So the bubble that you get is very nice. This is a projection beast as well. So if you do about 4-5 feet sprays, and in the evening this will do 2 to 3 feet at 6 to 8 hours easily on apparel. So it's a very, very good value for money kind of a fragrance. Now I think the pre-booking price, I'm not too really sure, I don't recollect exactly. So ballpark figure should be less than 1,500 rupees for this particular fragrance. And this is an excellent unisex fragrance, because like I said, it's a compliment get up. So be it men, be it women, both of them like sniffing this. So even if you wear it, you're definitely going to get compliments. And this is an alt of the popular Zurge of Naxos, and I absolutely love that particular scent profile. Beautifully done, and Scentadelic has done a very good job of getting this you know, to the T in terms of the closeness to the OG. So it's a very beautiful take on Naxos. You can definitely try this one called Drip Drop 2.0. I think number 14 on this particular list is a fabulous fragrance from the house of Hafia, and I kind of like this fragrance every time I put it on, and I kind of like it on my wife as well. So every time she wears it, it's a lovely fragrance. This has got predominantly two or three things. It's got honey, it's got oud, and a little bit of spices, which are mostly sweet spices. Now, the kind of thing is, when Naxos, because it's got lavender and cinnamon and honey, the scent profile is a little more lighter. Now, here, this is a more denser fragrance. Now this, like I said, it will kind of give you a vibe of rose. So honey with oud will give you a vibe of rose, but rose is very floral. This is a little more denser, so that's where you can kind of differentiate it. But for an untrained nose or somebody who's sniffing for the first time will think that you're wearing a rose fragrance, but then the density of this particular fragrance, the lasting, the projection will make you think that this is a fab fragrance. Now this is easily at least 8 to 10 hours on your skin and projects really well as well, but this is little on the expensive side. I think it's about close to about 3000 rupees on the MRP, but then I think after discount you should be able to get it about 2500 or so. And so that way this is a really nice fragrance for anybody, men and women easily can carry it well, and it's a very nice strong compliment getting kind of a fragrance. Again, but the density and, like I said, the loudness is really something that will give you a lot of compliments and a lot of uniqueness to yourself. So that way it's a beautiful fragrance for you to try, and you do please check the website because of its availability. It kind of goes out of sale very soon whenever it's been launched, so do check. And if you're able to get a partial of this, nothing like it. So really nice fragrance. This is Luxuirate Oud from the house of Hafia. It's another honey oud kind of a fragrance, very beautiful, rich, nicely done for unisex fragrances. So number 15, the next fragrance, has got a lot of compliments for me. and a little bit of that magnolia and all of that with this melon and this apple and kiwi, blackcurrant, plum, so many things happening. It's a fab fragrance. This is a fragrance for I would say primarily for women, but I think if you are complicated man, you can definitely pull it off as well. So but mostly I would say this will lean towards women, and this is a beautiful fragrance with the kind of body that this particular fragrance has got. People will recognize it instantly because it's a very popular fragrance. It's been there for 20 plus years, so you can easily kind of think that people would know the DNA of this one. So it's a nice fragrance from the house of Dior. It's called Jadot, and I'll try and see who's got a alt of it currently. Maybe Yasmin or Muzna or somebody would have it. I'll definitely put in the details of it. It's a lovely fragrance, especially white floral, fruity, rose, jasmine, a little bit of that musky elements. Fab fragrance, makes for a wonderful fragrance. So that is the 16th fragrance, or rather think about this as a bonus fragrance. So it's a 15 fragrance for Unisex, right? So Unisex 15 fragrances. Now I kind of bought this list up because of the requests that came in from a lot of you asking for fragrances for women, and so that's why I decided to do this particular fragrance. And if you kind of like this, I will do a all-out fragrance video for women only. Now if you kind of like the content that I bring, please like and subscribe, because that makes a lot of motivation for me. And please do interact. Put in your comments, share your thoughts, and let us know what you would like to see more and what next. So on that note, take care. Bye now. My name is Rodney. Take care.